Okay, today's beanie, it's got a lot of ACG energy. I'm gonna confront that right off the bat, but I think Carrick would be proud of my little getup here. Granted, I don't got the beard to go alongside it. I got a, humble little goatee, but still, I think Carrick would enjoy this. Anyway, more importantly, salutations everybody. It's Matty here today with another Cyberpunk 2077 news update. Today, we're getting into the big update that has hit the game on consoles right now, coming to PC soon. It's clocking in at about 17 gigabytes, addressing a lot of issues from stability to performance, of course, things like gameplay issues, quest bugs, all that is being addressed in this hotfix. Emphasis on that. A lot of people are looking for the big fixes for Cyberpunk, and apparently, according to Projekt Red, which we can only trust their words so much right now, it's coming in January and February. Those are big, substantial patches, whereas right now we're looking at hot fixes that are fixing some of the kinks in the game right now, and you will notice, I would say, an improvement. At least anecdotal evidence has suggested that much. Two of my friends who are playing on PS5, they are having a much better time. When it comes to the old gen systems, well, just return your game, okay? Anyway, we're going to be going through the change log here. I will have it linked in the description down below. Based off your feedback in my first update video for Cyberpunk, a lot of you said, don't read the quest log. So I'm going to go ahead and just let you all know, based off what I've read, which you're seeing on screen here, a lot of this has to do with the prologue, such as the heist and the opening missions leading up to that. There's also some side missions like Delamain's in there, and they're all getting their own sets of fixes, from canceling out T-poses to making sure certain things go different places and Jackie stays in certain spots. You get it, right? Like quest bugs and stuff, that's not that interesting to read. It just means that your experience will be a lot smoother leaping in. And quest bugs are probably the most infuriating things in all gaming, because sometimes you don't know if the game's bugging out or you're missing something and you walk around like a chicken with your head cut off for like 20 minutes. It's like, okay, enough. Let's keep moving on to more important things in this changelog that we can actually discuss. Gameplay improved the reaction times of NPCs taking cover and corrected the number of shots needed to kill civilians from a distance while in combat. You know, if there's one thing I want to fix in Cyberpunk, it's murdering civilians. Let me tell you what, that is something I've been waiting a while for. My tech weapon getup, it's not working on the NCPD and all the different gangs I'm taking on. The civilians, that's the stuff right there. In all seriousness though, I think the most important one here is NPCs taking cover. Big issue with Cyberpunk 2077 is 100% it's AI. It gets exposed constantly. It's not as reactive as you'd like it to be. And it's strange because it can differentiate based off your build. Like if you're doing tech weapons and the AI is just sitting behind cover doing nothing, it works for you because your build is fueled off of shooting people through their cover. So you don't really think too much about it. When you want them to react to you in different ways, you want them to stay in cover. So this, to me, it's good news, but some people want more action, more upfront attacks, that type of stuff, trying to flank you, be aggressive, that type of stuff. So we'll see if they continue to tweak that. But right now, what's good is they'll at least hide from your bullets. Will they move and all that stuff? We'll see. But right now, they'll at least take cover. It's a step forward, okay? Take all the victories we can right now, because Projekt Red hasn't had a lot of them, to be honest. And I'm not on a hate train when I say that, okay? I say it out of someone who does like them. I want to see them bounce back, but just, we're trying to laugh a little bit, okay? Having enjoyment and information, those are two things that I like to combine here. All right, let's continue on. Visuals. Now, this has to be a big component that we have to discuss here. Fixed an issue with Delamain's image displayed on the top of the current caller during phone calls. Yes, this was a terrifying one that has happened to my friends. V's mouth doesn't stay open after entering the space lock in Where Is My Mind. Fixed some UI overlap issues. V appears more modest in the inventory preview after the half-year montage. NPCs are faster to appear in the quest area during Stadium Love. Added some warmth to HDR. A lot of people were complaining about the broken HDR in the game. Fixed T-posing NPCs in suspected organized crime activity. Just say no and gig hot merchandise. Fixed an issue whereby after a brain dance, it was possible to be stuck in a third-person view with no head. That is a unique one. And silencer icons are no longer displayed with no image in the inventory. All right, so YouTube's algorithm, they like a top 3 list. So these are the top 3 for visual bugs that I actually dig big time that they have fixed. Number 1, Delamain. That is a creepy bug, okay? We don't want that happening again. I'm glad this one got fixed because I actually have Fighting Cowboy who joined the podcast this latest episode, and he was talking about how he has like 20 Let's Play episodes where anytime someone calls, Delamain's like overlapped with someone else's face, like Pan Am or something. It's like, that can be a little distracting and ruin your experience. So that's good that got fixed. Number 2, as much as I enjoy seeing my character, them being a little more modest in the inventory screen, I appreciate that, you know, having them change and actually seeing the clothes beyond them. That's something that I think is pretty sick. Number 3 is UI overlap issues. I can't tell you how much this happens to me. So I'm very excited to see the game not do this. One thing I do want to see them actually get rid of, and I imagine this will be in the first patch, is when you look at a gun, that the UI doesn't get stuck. Sometimes you'll have like that big gun box with all the details on it, and you'll walk away from it, and it'll stay there, and you'll have to go back, look at another object, and then look away again, and then it'll disappear. I would love for that to just never be a problem ever again in my entire life, because that drives me up a wall. So here's hoping in January that is fixed. Fret not, there are UI fixes that are happening, so we're gonna read a couple of those now. And it starts off with, fixed an issue with weapon crosshair persisting on screen. The inventory menu no longer closes immediately after opening it for the first time after leaving a car. Fixed an issue whereby upon accessing a fast travel terminal, the button shown on the top right corner prompting to open the quest journal would not work. Buddy of mine had an issue with the crosshair one. For me here, what really sticks out is the inventory. This was something I wasn't even aware was a bug. I thought I was just going crazy. And sometimes, you know, you have the control in your hands, right? And you're just tapping away. You're just going at it. And like, I think sometimes I just double tap and I'm like, oh, I'm just excited. I just wanted to really open my inventory. Like, it must have been me. I didn't know this was a bug, guys and gals. I gotta be honest with you. So, I've been experiencing that one a lot. Glad that one's fixed. All right, good stuff, CD Projekt Red. Most importantly, this is really for consoles, but I know PC can benefit from this as well. Multiple stability improvements, including crash fixes. Now, this one is interesting because they're saying it almost like it's gonna permanently cut out your crashing. I will say this much, I have buddies who are playing it on PS5 and they have both experienced crashes since the hotfix has been installed. So this is something that is persisting on. It is a hot fix. I will remain somewhat patient, or at least try to, and continue reporting on it. But right now, you're gonna have to wait for more patches to come out before that seems to be completely stomped out, at least on the PlayStation side. On Xbox Series X, we've heard excellent things, that the game runs about as great as you could ask for on these consoles. But outside of that, it's a tough get. They also added miscellaneous off-screen explosions make noise now. That is, yeah, the sound in this game being broken is just unacceptable. I don't know how that kind of gets by. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can sort of understand and be like, oh, I got rushed, but this, I don't know how that's missed. But anyway, now it's time for PC-specific issues. And I think this explains why it's coming to PC a little bit later, because there are some more rig-specific things here. So yes, this may not be the most interesting for all of you, but I'm going to read through all of it so that listeners out there who have, of course, various different setups can understand if maybe something on their end has changed. So let's get to reading. AMD SMT optimized default core/thread utilization for 4-core and 6-core AMD Ryzen processors. 8-core, 12-core, and 16-core processors remain unchanged and behaving as intended. This change was implemented in cooperation with AMD and based on tests on both sides, indicating that performance improvement occurs only on CPUs with 6 cores or less, which is kind of crazy to think about. Fixed an issue with the way raw input is collected. Removed the use of AVX instructions, thus fixing crashes occurring at the end of the prologue on processors not supporting AVX. Removed debug console to prevent functions that could lead to crashes or blocked quests. This doesn't mean we don't want to support the modding community. Stay tuned for more info on that. Hello! Ray traced reflections should no longer seem too bright in comparison to the environment. Fixed an issue in the Steam overlay, crash on game shutdown. Removed the memory pool budgets.csv file, which was not connected with the final version of the game and had no influence on it. It was a leftover file used during the development to estimate memory usage. It had no effect on how much memory was actually allocated. Perceived performance increase after editing the file may have been related to restarting the game. Okay, so lot of tech doohickey there. I'm gonna be honest, I'm trying to learn all of this stuff. I think it's kind of fascinating that the game ran better previously on 6 cores or less. But what sticks out to me here is actually not the fix, but that they're talking about modding soon. That is hype, okay? Nothing extends the longevity of the game quite like modding. Example A, Skyrim. Still relevant to this day. I still love Skyrim. I still play a ton of Skyrim. Hell yes. Please encourage modding in this game. I could see some amazing stuff, especially with some of the leftover space they have in the open world or things that you could overhaul. Cyberpunk modding could be sick. I would love to see them fully embrace it like Bethesda and just go in and let people do what they want with the game. It could be huge for them. I can't imagine any company out there hasn't seen what Bethesda's doing with Skyrim and been like, we want that. We want that with our games. There are also console-specific improvements to wrap this up, and I think this one is very important. Improved image sharpness with chromatic aberration and film grain on, which was something people were actually turning off. Settings should no longer reset to default after several game session restarts. Fixed visual issues occurring during the transition between the heist and Love Like Fire. Corrected the look of several vehicles. On Xbox, entering combat while Synaptic Accelerator is active no longer ends in the player health bar not being displayed. On Xbox as well, game no longer becomes unresponsive when signing out from a profile when the controller disconnection message is visible. So I like how I talked up Xbox, and here are 2 fixes specifically for them. Telemetry consent request will appear once more due to an earlier issue with settings reset. And last but certainly not least, fixed an issue whereby it was possible to fall down the elevator shaft in the mega building H8 in automatic love. And so that does it, everybody. For a hotfix, this is actually a pretty substantial list. There's a lot going on here, so I can only imagine with the full patch in January, we're gonna see a lot, and I mean a lot. What I'm wondering about with that patch that's gonna drop then is, will it be a full-on, like, here's a bunch of fixes, or will it add new things there? Because CD Projekt Red did promise in early 2021 we'd talk about DLC and they'd start rolling that out. So will there be new quests on top of this? A lot of you may be like, that's not much of a question, but here's the thing is that in a lot of, I've experienced it at least with Ubisoft games, they will implement a patch and it'll break something else. A lot of people think that what's going to happen with Cyberpunk, and this can happen by the way, I'm not saying it won't, is that they will put a patch into the game and then everything's fixed, right? Like it doesn't cause one issue to pop up. Kind of like the Hydra, right? You cut off its head and another one takes its place. It could have that type of situation there. So I do wonder if CD Projekt Red wants to actually get these 2 patches out in January and February, and then we start adding content in, because then they'll know everything's fixed. Or do you add new content alongside that? Because what happens if these new quests have bugs, these new quests have issues? What happens then, right? That is what I'm most curious about with these patches that are coming, the big ones in January and February. We'll have to see, we'll have to be patient, but for now, this is the change log for the latest update, 17 gigabytes for Cyberpunk 2077. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below. More importantly, if you are playing on consoles right now, let me know how your experience is faring. Has it improved noticeably, or are you still struggling a little bit? Let me know. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to sign out, and I'll talk with you guys all in the next Cyberpunk video. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who are pushing the limits of the content here. Soon, I'm actually going to be taking a little bit of a vacation, so I appreciate all of you just being here, supporting me. Don't worry, we'll have tons of videos scheduled, lots of Cyberpunk content, lots of BioWare and Bethesda content. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait for you all to see what's there. But with that, I'll talk with all of you soon. Stay sexy, stay active. Love you all. Peace.